Welcome to Business Smarts Radio with Tom and Dr. Dave, the clean approach to building your successful business. Now, let's introduce Tom Borg and Dr. Dave Miles. Welcome to episode 4 of Business Smarts Radio with Tom and Dr. Dave, where we bring you the clean approach to building a successful business. And by clean, I'm not talking about spick and span and dust mops. We're talking about clean, where it's all about communication, leadership, engagement.
And without all the drama.
No drama. That is for sure. So today's topic, we will be talking about why delegating is so darn hard and how to fix it. I'll give you a few ideas on that. So what do you think, Tom?
Well, and when we start to think about delegation, I'd like to think about one of the clients I was working with a while back. He, a good guy, hardworking guy. And he was the type of guy that wanted the best for his company. But one of the things he did was he tried to do too many things himself. What he needed to do is take a step back and look at what he could have been delegating. But for this particular gentleman, it was just something that wasn't on his radar screen. So as a result, his business wasn't as successful as it could have been.
I got you. Well, I think this is the story here with Arnie that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Yeah, you had mentioned this, and I'll go through the story real quick for our listeners.
Please.
This was a story that you and I were talking about and fleshing out for the episode. That told me that Arnie was a really good manager, and he treated his employees well, communicated clearly to them, always listening, really good about what are some of the problems, issues, or concerns going on here. Really encourage their professional and personal development, go out and learn and develop and take classes, get their skill set increased. Was one of those things that were really big into work-life balance. So great, treating his employees fantastic. Okay, get your 8 hours, go home, be with the wife, be with the kids, be with the family, that type of thing. But the biggest thing was that you were telling me, and that's how this whole episode came about, was talking about his inability to be able to delegate. For some reason or another, he just couldn't do it. He tried. It didn't work out. So instead of figuring out exactly why, which we're going to go into some of the reasons today, just decided I'm not going to worry about it. And like I said, for him, a lot of presidents, CEOs, and business owners, delegate became the new 4-letter, 8-letter word, the dirty word. So you're right. It happens time and time again. And we at least like to be able to talk about some ways that you can get around that, and some things that you can do to kind of build your efficiency and effectiveness and help out with delegating. So figuring out why it's so hard.
Yes.
So why is delegating such a big problem for some folks? You were telling me about the Arnie's story. So I guess elaborate on that and just kind of tell me, Tom, why the delegating is such a problem for folks.
Well, I think it's a problem in a number of ways. First, I think people feel that it's something only they can do. It's something that they are able to do better than anybody else in the organization, and they don't want to give it to someone else because they might screw it up, right?
Right.
A second reason would be that they just feel it takes too long to actually delegate something. They could just do it themselves in the time that they're doing it.
Very true. I was going to say, what, because a lot of folks, I think they don't realize how much delegation is an actual skill set that needs to be developed, as much as public speaking is a skill set that needs to be developed, leadership is a skill set that needs to be developed, certain managerial responsibilities, that need to be developed. You don't just born being able to plan, organize, and budget things, to learn and develop those skills. So I think delegation is one of those skills that needs to be developed. But you had mentioned about a conversation you had with Dan Sullivan, who's who's the strategic coach. And I like how you framed it. You talk about it's not the problem that's the problem most of the time. It's how you think about the problem.
That's right.
It's the problem. Yes. So in this case, you're saying that delegation isn't necessarily the problem. It's how you're framing the context and how you're seeing the problem with delegation. And that's truly the core issue.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Tell me more about
how you look at it. Well, it depends how you look at the problem, I guess. So for a lot of people, it's something they feel like, I'm terrible at delegation. I could never do this. I've tried it. I've failed miserably. So it's just that mindset that's going to doom them from the beginning, right? So you have to change your mindset. You have to change the way you're looking at the problem. And rather than giving us all the reasons why you can't do it, start looking at some of the ways you could do it.
Nice. Well, so what are when you start getting, I think we all understand that it's important for us to delegate, but what are some of the reasons, and let's get into some of those why people don't.
Well, I think we could even frame them as excuses why they don't,
Okay.
because that's really what it comes down to. I think the first one is they feel that they can do it better than anybody else. Second, they just feel that it would take too much time to delegate something. They could do it themselves in a much faster way if they just got it done. And then I guess the third thing might be is because they just feel a little insecure if they were to start giving away some of these responsibilities that they've been so good at doing over the years. They might lose a little power. They might, who knows, be replaced down the road. Sometimes people do that. Still, another excuse I've often heard is that if they were to delegate, they feel that the quality would be so poor that it would be something that would reflect back on them, and they would feel like they were a failure because they're the ones that takes responsibility for the success of the project in that particular department. So I think it could be any or all of those, and probably a few more that we haven't even mentioned.
No, very true. Let's unpack a couple of those, because a lot of those have some real credence behind them. I mean, they're legitimate as far as whether you call them a reason or you call it an excuse. In the end, if you don't delegate, you're using that reason as an excuse.
That's
But
right.
they're so effective because they do have some credence to it. So let's take and unpack a few of those. I can do it better myself.
Well, let's face it, the person has a track record. They've done it before. They know they can do it well. They've got evidence to show that, hey, I can do it better myself. However, if they were to give this person they would delegate the responsibility to some time to develop the skill to do it as well, or maybe even better than them, it would be a great way to go. But that's the problem. They think that no one else can do it as good as them. Right. And they need to learn that it takes a real leader who's going to delegate in the right way to give that person a chance.
Very true. Because one of the things that you might be able to do it better, but just ask yourself, kind of, can they do it within 70 or 80% as well as you can do it? And where are the particular things that you have to be that exacting and as close to 100%, and where are the things that they can come along and, like you said, learn and grow along the way, and that 80% of good enough is okay for now. Get them to that point. And you talked about the second one you talked about was too much time. I tried delegating before. I don't have time for that. We're too busy. I don't have time for that.
Well, think about it. If that person is performing that same task over and over again, and let's say they're getting paid $250,000 a year for their position, but yet this task could be delegated to someone that's making maybe $50,000 a year, or maybe $100,000, whatever, a lot less money per year,
right,
per hour, right? Comes down to. So why would you want to spend your time doing something you could delegate to somebody else, and they could do it at a much lower cost to your company?
Yeah, taking and making sure that you're doing the things and what's the best use of your time.
Yes.
The most valuable use of your time that you're getting paid for there, not specifically doing a lower level task that,
right,
like you said, honestly can be farmed out, and probably they can do it just as good or better than you can. And
yeah, eventually they would, absolutely.
Because that goes into the third point about people being maybe a little conscientious about, well, if they do it better than me, kind of like that ego thing. If they do it better than me, they make me look bad. Mentioned about losing the power, maybe just losing some of their influence because, well, Sally's better at doing this than you are. So we'll listen to Sally, kind of that expert authority. There's different types of power within an organization. They don't want to lose that. They have the formal authority. They have that formal power, but they don't want to necessarily lose that expert authority.
That's right.
That expert version of power.
And Dave, you think about it, they don't want to become obsolescent.
Very true.
I mean, that might be a fear they have. Not true, but part of them might feel that. Say, well, geez, these younger people, they'll do better than me, and they won't need me anymore, or need me in this particular way.
Right. And the thing is, you mentioned before about mistakenly thinking that, they're going to keep their job. Like, I'm not going to be able to keep my job if this person, I delegated them, they're doing it better than me. Like I said, they kind of take over that expert role, and pick that up. But honestly, how much better does it when you can shine the spotlight on them?
That's
How much
right.
more does it look? Is better does it look for you as a leader and as a manager to say, "Hey, my people are doing great things." Brag on them. They're going to want to work harder. They're going to want to do more. But how much is that going to actually elevate the organization? And in the big picture, make you look even better because you're actually able to push those tasks down, develop the people down there that are below you, and to get them to excel and shine. And think about, and it kind of goes to the very last reason that we hadn't talked about, is there's only but so many hours in the day. You can only do but so much. And as you make those people shine and you develop those leaders and staff members that are below you, it increases your productivity.
Well, that will lead us into the reasons to do it, to why should we delegate. So let's take a look at the first one. The first thing is, certainly, as you just said, you'll become more productive. Your company will become more productive because you won't be paying yourself all this money to do a menial job. So that would be the first good reason. Second reason is people want to fill in on things. So if you have an employee or team member, by delegating to them, it allows them to feel like they're contributing, that they're going to be part of the team, that they matter, they're important. So that's important. Third thing is it allows them to grow. People, one of the main reasons people want to stay with the company is they feel they're going someplace. They're developing skills, and that's something we can do for our employees by delegating to them. Gives them a chance to learn and develop their skill sets. So that's very, very powerful.
Nice. That's nice. And no, you hit on a great point, because you get these people that you may not always be able to be in a position as a leader where I can give somebody a raise and I can give somebody a promotion, I can give somebody whatever. But I recently did a talk on leadership leverage and looking at the 5 keys of building a leadership culture in your organization. And one of the things that we talked about was being able to have the people that are below you actually not just do their job, but know how to do your job, and maybe even a little bit of the job above you. So they feel like, wow, I could step into that position if I want to. And it's, if you take, like you said, the ego out of it, they don't want your job. If you grow and expand, there's going to be other positions available that they're going to be able to go into. And same thing, it's that personal and professional development, that even though I don't have the raise, I don't have the promotion, I'm learning the skills that are going to set me up for that in the future. And from an organizational standpoint, like I mentioned in the talk, if you're a bank and you have 50 branches and you're getting ready to acquire another bank through a merger or acquisition that have another maybe 7 or 8 or 9 branches, do you have 7 or 8 or 9 branch managers literally ready to go tomorrow that know you, that know your organization, that know your culture, that you could drop in and it would be seamless? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you do, great. And other than cash flow, that's one of the things that really stifles businesses when they stumble because they grow too fast. It's simply they've not been able to delegate, to be able to train and develop their people below them and develop them as leaders to be able to take their job, like you said, because of lots of different issues. And some of it is, they'll make me look bad, they'll take my influence, just those psychological things that we don't want to give up that little bit of control and power. But it really hurts your business in the long run when you don't have that depth on the bench to be able to do that. And the only way to do that is delegating and giving them the projects, the authority to be able to do those things. And honestly, let them make some mistakes.
Sure.
How else are they going to learn?
Exactly. And that's a great point. Let them make those mistakes. Don't step in and prevent them. Let them learn. If it's something that can be corrected without too much of a problem, that's important, because it allows them to learn how to get their own sea legs, so to speak. And like the old saying says, you can't be promoted unless you can be replaced. So if your company has this opportunity for you where you can move up, well, why not make sure that you've got someone that can come in and take your place, so that you do have that opportunity to move into that next position that's up your career ladder.
Very true. You would hate to think, because of you just want to hold on to everything that tight and control it, and now all of a sudden you've really shot yourself in the foot and stifled your own promotion opportunity.
That's right.
Because
Absolutely.
we would love to put you in that position, Tom. We would love to give you that senior VP job, but we have nobody that's qualified to take that position you're at now, and it's too crucial of a position to be able to leave it open for 6 months while we do a recruitment. So sorry about your luck.
There you go.
Not
Great,
good.
great example.
That is a good example. So what else do we have? Reasons to.
So I think essentially that's the main group there. We've talked about gets the job done. Oh, gets the job done, grows people, allows them to fill in on things, and certainly it increases the overall productivity of the organization. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned that earlier, but it bears repeating here because it's true. That's what we're trying to do is raise the bottom line, and delegation is definitely a tool that can help us do that.
Right. And if you're a larger business or mid-sized business and you're trying to grow and scale, the only way you're going to be able to do that effectively is building that depth on the bench by delegating those leadership responsibilities down to people below you to get them prepared to take that job. And it's a little bit different dynamic when you're talking about a very small business, one or two people, where you're having to be chief cook and bottle washer and do everything. But at some point, yes, when you're first starting a business, you have more time than money and you kind of have to do it all. But one of the things that I just wanted to remind folks, because we're talking about bigger businesses, sometimes this is just as applicable to small businesses, or sometimes even more. When you get to that point, you're good at doing some of those minor tasks that now do need to be pawned off, maybe to a virtual assistant or maybe to some part-time help or a 1099 employee, something that you can get rid of those so you can concentrate on doing the best work you do and be able to get out and actually talk to people and generate more business. You can't generate business if you fix computers. You can't be generating business if you're out fixing computers. You can't do both.
That's right.
When you building and developing teams of people that can go do that, eventually as the business grows, then you can be out doing your best work and thinking, where am I going to take my business in the next few years? Plus, where am I actually going to be able to, grow and develop and go get those contracts? And so, yeah, really be able to accelerate your business a lot more through delegation. That's the only way you're really going to be able to grow and scale. That's for sure.
That is a fact.
Final parting thoughts for our audience tonight?
Well, how about this? If we really want to get ahead in life, we got to take both feet off of first place because you can't get to second base if you leave one foot on first. So take these ideas and get moving with them.
Sounds great. Well, thanks, Tom. And I appreciate you all being here for Business Smarts Radio with Tom and Dr. Dave, bringing you the clean approach to building a successful business. And by clean, we are all about on this podcast, communication, leadership, engagement.
And doing it without all the drama.
And no drama. All right. You all have a great day, and we will see you in the next episode of Business Smarts Radio with Tom and Dr. Dave.